Good day everyone, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Flawless Knowledge. Today I want to talk about something very important. The subject I want to talk about is happiness. And what is happiness? From my point of view and from the knowledge that I have, I would like to say happiness is actually obviously the opposite of sadness, but it's contentment and gratitude for what we have and appreciation for what we have. However, for some strange reason, people out there find it really hard to be content and be thankful for what they have in their lives at the present moment. They're always wanting that extra thing out there, either be it a person or be it a material desire. And 9 out of 10 times what tends to happen is when you achieve that desired outcome or get the person that you thought you wanted, you realize that you're still actually not happy. Not as happy as you would have thought you would have been. Because what tends to happen is the mind puts false impressions, on itself, thinking this person, this materialistic object is going to make me so happy and content. And in all reality, it's 9 out of 10 times a lie. I mean, that's how business unfortunately is run, because you see there's always a latest phone out there, a latest technology, always improving, because they realize that the human mind is always wanting more and more, because it's always chasing that happiness and that satisfaction, being deluded that it's something that can unfortunately not ever be achieved permanently. As I mentioned in my previous videos, that everything is temporary. Happiness is also temporary, and same with sadness. However, most people out there unfortunately tend to concentrate more on the sadness and tend to get addicted. It's kind of addiction in a sad way, which people want to have that victim attitude that, I'm a victim and look at all these bad things that have happened, so how can I be happy? Where if they look at it from an observer, and it's, like I mentioned, this channel's about mastering the mind, harmonizing with the mind, and realizing that this body is not our body. It's a temporary vehicle. We're actually a soul within the body having a human experience, and realize that we need to have these experiences and they will pass, because you can't have happiness without knowing what sadness is. And you can't know what hot is without knowing what cold is. Everything has to come in its duality. There has to be night, day, man, woman, so on, so forth. There has to come a time when one needs to ask themselves, how long do they want to be on this wheel of emotions? One day you're happy, next you're sad. Day in, day out, you're happy, you're sad, you're happy, sad. Do you really want to be in that situation where these emotions are controlling you, these external events? You're just like a victim, where it can be different. It can be a state of mind where you become appreciative, have acceptance, and understanding that everything will pass and nothing lasts forever. Once we learn, it is harsh to accept, but I know you guys can do it. Accept that nothing lasts forever, and that's going to make you enjoy the moments that you have with your loved ones, your material possessions, because make the most of what you have. I want to expand more on this. For example, I wanted to say, the day and age we live in, we're very fortunate. Most of us out there have many benefits that we take for granted. For example, the microwave, the toaster, the kettle, the washing machine, the iron, just simple things like this. If we look back 100 years ago, people did not have these little conveniences that we have, and life was much harder for them. So once we learn to appreciate the small things in life, and also learn to understand and harmonize ourselves with our emotions, so when we're feeling sad, we understand the root cause of the sadness. However, look for a solution instead of just dwelling on the problem. I'm not saying don't try to make yourselves happy, do the best you can, because that's the whole point in life, is one wants to be happy, but it's a false illusion. And a lot of people out there, it's a false hype that is out there everywhere in the media. I'm not saying not to be happy, obviously, because everybody wants to be happy, so do I. But we have to understand that if we're going to be happy, unfortunately, we're going to be sad as well. So we need to understand that it's a flow up and down, good, bad, left, right, so on and so forth, like I mentioned earlier. Then one can hopefully learn to appreciate the emotions, but not get attached to them, because they will pass, they will come, and they will go. So, no heaven nor hell. Contentment is the way. The in-between, where we learn that we're coming out of this continuous circle of being happy one day, sad the next, chasing for that happiness. That, of course, will come, because I'm sure there's many of you, which I hope all of you out there have been happy in 1 or 2 or 3 moments in their lives, or many more, hopefully. And there have been occasions where they've been sad in their lives. So like I mentioned, comes and goes. However, from my perspective and from my knowledge, I would say to achieve a state of, I wouldn't say happiness, but I would say contentment, because you don't want to be over happy, you don't want to be sad. Be in the middle, the grey line, where you're content because you have to know that if I do have all this happiness, what's going to happen later. It's like, when you go out with your mates, you're drinking, you're having a few, think, yeah, I'll have a few more. But then that extra happiness gets you sadness in the morning, or maybe on the same day. And trust me, it has happened to me before. And that's why it's vital to be content, because if you've had those few, you're kind of happy, you don't want to get over happy. Even in life, you be content, you be happy, you don't want to get over happy, you be sad, but you don't want to get over sad. Because when you do, it causes a lot of issues to the mind, where you get stress, anxiety, and mental issues that you can totally avoid, because once you understand, night has to follow day, day has to follow night, good, the bad, the ups, the downs. So it's all appreciating these different stages in our lives, the bad stages we go through. It is harsh to say, but you can go through life, bad times, either with tears or with contentment, and just you can either go through a bad time laughingly or cryingly, because at the end of the day, an external situation, I know it can be hard because it can be really personal, but you can't let it control you, because you're a soul in this body, having a human experience, learning and knowing that everything is just me to experience. I don't want to get too attached. You do want to have the things that you love, spend the time with the things that you love, your family, your friends, whatever possessions you have. But don't have your happiness dependent on that. Have your happiness dependent within yourself, with your contentment, because what's here today is gone tomorrow, and we don't take nothing with us. We don't come with anything. However, even happiness and sadness, we're not going to take it with us. It's just experiencing it in this reality that we're in. I hope this video has made sense to most of you guys out there. If you have any questions, any suggestions, please do comment, please do like, please do subscribe. These are my first few videos. I'm going to try to do more and expand on the knowledge that I have. I've got much deeper knowledge out there that I want to share with all my followers and all my listeners. So I just want to say thank you for joining me today, and I wish you all the best in mastering your mind.